Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together in here and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching on the camera, to the saints in the chats, to the saints that's scattered all the way around the world, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Do me a favor. Go over there and click on chat. See the one at the top? Click on the one that say chat. No, I asked him to do it. See? There you go. You ain't paying attention. I said at the top. I said at the top. No, top. Top screen. Go. Goodness gracious. I should let Zakai do it. My bad, Zakai. Next time you can do it. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? You get straight A's. I don't know what is a B student over here. I don't know what you got. So what you got in PE? Okay then. That's all. So hold on. I'm just trying to figure out. Don't call me no liar. I'm just trying to figure it out. That's how you redefine it. So listen. What we talked about last time we was together. Y'all remember we was talking about John 12? Yeah, so you remember Yahushua, he is coming through. You know what I'm saying? They laid down the palm trees and the clothes for him so he could walk on top of it. He told the people, he said, go get my darn donkey. You know what I'm saying? We talked about how he had to get the donkey because he had to fulfill what Saul did. Remember, Saul was looking for a donkey. And then when he went, he found Samuel, the prophet, and Samuel was like, yeah, don't even worry about it. They already found the donkey. Matter of fact, your dad stopped looking for the donkey, and now he's looking for you. Right? So we talked about how that testified of Messiah. Right? And then we also talked about how Solomon, you remember David? He told David, mama, he was like, listen, man, don't even worry about it. Your son is going to be the king. This is what you need to do. Go get the elders. Go get a donkey. Have them ride in the town on it, right? That's what Yahushua had to do. He had to come in on a donkey, testify. And there's many other situations where men of authority rode in on donkeys. So Yahushua had to show that and prove his point that way. Today, we're gonna continue on through the gospel. We're gonna open up at Matthew chapter 24. But Matthew chapter 24, it starts off with a couple questions that get asked. And Yahushua spend the rest of the chapter kind of explaining and answering his questions in great detail. A lot of people misunderstand a lot about this chapter. So what we're going to try to do is take it real slow and just break it down. It's a little cold in here. You know, ain't cold? Y'all ain't cold? This is Danielle. This Danielle popped up. You know what I'm saying? It's a little chilly outside to me. She popped up, no jacket. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's wrong with that because you know what I mean? You from over there. You know what I'm talking about? Like me, I ain't used to all that. You think that's cool to go to school with no jacket? That's crazy. It's Matthew chapter 24. Give me verse 1. Let's see what the book says. Get you a book, boy.
And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Right. So you remember he was talking to the people in Jerusalem last week when we was talking. So now he went out from before the temple. And then the people, his disciple came to him. Sabbath peace, family. The disciple came to him and they was looking like, you know what I'm saying? Let me catch up to him. Watch what they say.
Yahushua said to them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Right? So Yahushua, he leaving the temple and he admiring that thing. He looking at that thing. You see this? Look at this. That's nice, ain't it? Matter of fact, grab Mark chapter 13 real quick. I think it's Mark chapter 13. Give me Mark chapter 13, verse 1. It might not be Mark, it might be Luke. But give me Mark chapter 13, give me verse 1. Real quick, 'cause we got a lot to talk about.
And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here?
Look, they came to Yahushua, they said, Master, you see what manner of stones? Right? Watch this, read it again, watch this.
And he went out of the temple, and one of the disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here? And Yahushua answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Right? So they asked him a question. They looking like they admiring the building. Go back to chapter 24, verse 1, right? They admiring the building, and Yahushua pointed out to him. Yahushua was like, yeah, no, that's nice. And y'all like that? Y'all think this, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think the temple look nice? Because we looking at this, the temple of the most, sometimes we lose perspective of this stuff because we've been Christianized, right? A Christian would be like, it ain't about the place, it's about the spirit. The Lord say we're two or more gathered, which is fact, right? We're two or more gathered. But at the same time, that's not the thinking of our people at this time, right? The thinking of our people at this time is the Most High God gave this house specifically to David, who is the greatest king in all of Israel. And he made it, he prepared it for Solomon to build, who was the wisest king of all. Like, it's historical nature that's built into this building for us, right? Although the one that they referring to had been taken down and rebuilt by Zerubbabel, you know what I'm saying, and by Joshua and Ezra, right? But nevertheless, we look at it, you know what I'm saying, and we looking like, man, this thing is great. The Yahushua, he looking like, read it again. It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 1.
Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple.
Right.
And Yahushua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Mm-hmm.
And as he sat up on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us
So
when
look,
shall these things
after
be?
that, the disciples had to come to him privately. Remember, we talked about going all the way back to Mark chapter 4 and going all the way back to Matthew chapter 13. We talked about the difference between a Christian, right, a follower of the multitudes, and the disciple, right? So on one side, you got Christians or followers or multitudes, right? That's all on one side. On the other side, you got disciples. And at some point, we got to choose what side we on, right? If you a Christian or a follower or one of the multitudes, then you kind of hear the sermon. You don't really understand it, but after you hear it, you pretend like you understand it, clap your hands, and you walk away. Right? Like, you don't really read the Bible, but sometimes you hear stuff and you aware of the Bible, and then you tell that lie like all the Christians tell. Oh no, I know the Bible front to back. Right? When you on that side of it, it don't really penetrate. You think you hearing something, it's entertaining to you, it's cool, but it don't really penetrate. It don't really change your life. You never become disciplined, right? You never say, you know what? Let me stop doing that. Let me deny myself of that, and let me just choose the right thing, right? But then if you compare that to the other side, to a disciple gonna stick around and learn. A disciple gonna dedicate himself to something or herself to something, right? So that's why after he spoke about the temple, he went on. He sat at the Mount of Olives, and then the disciples privately, in other words, when nobody else was around, right? The disciple privately came to him and was like, yo. So what's that you were talking about? You know what I'm saying? What's that? You were talking about the building? You said the building was about to be knocked down? This temple right here? Tell me more about that. What parable is this? You know what I'm saying? He always talking in parable. We don't never know if Yahushua is serious or not. We looking like, you know what I'm saying? No, what you What that mean? That's a good parable there. Tell me about that one. You know what I'm saying? The temple gonna be tore down. Tell me about that. What you mean? Right? Watch what he say. This is Matthew chapter 24. Give me verse 3, 2?
4.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 4.
Well, 3, sorry.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3.
And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Right? So they asking them questions. They looking like, all right, so hold on. What you talking about? The building gonna be? Well, okay, well, help us understand this. How many questions they asked?
3.
3 questions. Let's watch them. Read it again. What questions did they ask? I need some help. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get one question for me, all right? You ready? What's the first question?
When shall these things be?
So the first question is what? When shall these things be? You got to remember that, because that's your question. We're going to answer it for you. Yahushua going to answer it for you, all right? So what's your question? When shall these things be? What's the second question?
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
You got it? What is it? Pre-close, what shall be the sign of your coming? Right? Thy coming is what he say, right? What shall be the sign of you coming back? That's what they asking. Yahushua, when are you going to come back? Right? You got your question? What is it? When you coming back? That's good enough. I'll take it. Right? When you coming back? Then what's the third question?
What shall be the sign? And in the end of the world?
Zechariah, you got this one? Kind of, but no, it's just the end of the world. When is the end of the world? All right? So the first question is, when will these things be? He said, look, he talking about the temple. He was like, man, this temple, man, look, it's going to come a day. You ain't going to see one of these stones on top of the other. So Adrian asked the question. He asked the question first. He said, well, when is that going to happen? Right? That was your question, right? When is that going to happen? Then after that, Aubrey heard him ask the question. Aubrey probably was like, well, hold on. And when you coming back? Because you know what I'm saying? You were talking about you leaving. So when you coming back? Then after that, Zechariah popped up. And when the end of the world? Right? Because you know Zechariah always worried about when the world going in. You know what I'm saying? So Yahushua got 3 questions that he got to answer. He got to figure out the answers to all 3 of these things. Now watch the chapter. Look how, I just want y'all to know how masterful the man is. If you read this chapter and you not paying attention, you think the whole thing about the end of the world. That's what I used to think. When I was reading the thing, I was looking like, dang, so hold on. The abomination that make it desolate gonna surround America. And you know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm just making sense of some dumb Negro logic. And I'm sitting there looking like, oh, they asked the man 3 questions. So he got to answer all 3 of those questions. So that's what we're about to look at right now. We're going to look at them answer all the questions. Let's keep going. Watch this. Pay attention. Because you got to get your answer.
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many.
Right? He said, listen, don't let nobody trick you now. Right? There's a whole lot of people that can come, and they're going to be talking about, I'm the Messiah. He said, take heed. What does take heed mean?
Pay attention.
Pay attention. When he say take heed, that means pay your butt attention. It's going to be a lot of people lying talking about, I'm the Messiah. Some of them going to be called Mudar Hamid. Some of them going to be called Yahuah ben Yahuah. That's the dude that went to, you know what I'm saying? He went to, where he go? The Mona Israel. He had all these people. I heard he had all these people. This is what I heard now. I heard he had all these people, all his members stealing credit cards from their family member, doing whatever they got to do to get $1 so they can make it over to Africa. Then they sat in Africa until Israel let them in. Then they finally went into Israel. They set up their little colony. They still got it over there too. Set up their little colony. And you know what I'm saying? And then people thought he was the Messiah. He dead now, but they thought he was the Messiah. They call him Yahuah ben Yahuah. You know what I'm saying? All of them have to join the Israel army. Right now, I should look into them. I bet you they out there fighting right now. They probably getting killed front line. Knowing them because they black butts. Right? Who else was a Messiah to these people?
For
Hold
what was
on,
that
what the
dude? Joseph Smith. Who was that one that had
Joseph Smith? Wasn't that what's that, Mormons?
Mormons, something like that?
Yeah, Joseph Smith. They thought he was the one. They got Muslims got all type of messiahs. They got Farik, what's his name? Farik, what is it? Farrakhan, but Farrakhan daddy. It's Farik Muhammad. That's what it is. Farik Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Farik Muhammad supposedly so of the religion of the FOI. What they called? Not the five. What they called? The Farrakhan people. What's they called? They Muslim, but the ones the FOI, right? FOI. What does it stand for? Why I can't think of their stuff? Nation of Islam. Why I say FOI? NOI is what I'm trying to say. NOI. Yeah, Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? So the Nation of Islam, they claim that it was this white dude that was their Messiah, God in the flesh, right? And then he taught Elijah Muhammad. So Farik Muhammad was the white man. He taught Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad then taught Malcolm X and Farrakhan. Malcolm X stepped a little out of line, clack, clack, you know what I'm saying? And so Farrakhan is now kind of carrying the mantle. And now they kind of low-key looking at Farrakhan like he the Messiah now, right? That's how all these people kind of think. But he's saying, and that's just people in our kind of time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole slew of people that didn't call themselves the Messiah at different times that history has forgot about because these people were so unimpressive. Right? They were so unimpressive that we don't even remember them in history at this point. Just like a lot of these people that call themselves something now, we ain't gonna remember no darn Farrakhan. Right? We ain't gonna remember none of these people, but we think they great now. After these people, they gonna be forgotten. History ain't gonna remember because they not impressive, right? So now keep going. Watch this. He said it's gonna be a whole lot of false prophets, a whole lot of false messiahs. Keep going. Watch this.
And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
He said, and then you're gonna hear of wars, and you're gonna hear of rumors and wars. What was your question? Right? When will these things be? What things were we talking about? The temple.
Get thrown down.
The temple. When is the temple gonna get torn down? So he tell him, he is like, look, you're gonna hear about a bunch of messiahs, right? After that, you're gonna hear about wars and rumors of wars. That means you're gonna look up and be like, I heard this country going to war with that country, and that country going to war with that country. Keep going, watch this.
See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
He said, when you hear wars and rumors to wars, you should freak out. No, he said, see that you be not troubled. In other words, don't let that thing bother you. Just because all these people going to war and they trying to mess with each other. He said, don't let that stuff bother you. Watch this. Keep going.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
He said, listen, nation is going to rise against nation, and kingdom is going to rise against kingdom, right? And there shall be earthquakes and pestilence in diverse places. So in a bunch of different places, it's going to be earthquakes. So what he's described so far is, first of all, you're going to have a Messiah that's not going to be a Messiah. It's going to be a bunch of them boys. It's going to be people talking about going to war, right? Then after that, you're going to have actual wars because this nation going to go up against this nation and this kingdom going to go against this kingdom, right? And then you're going to have famine and pestilence. In other words, COVID-19 is going to be breaking out against people and they're going to be dying, right? You're going to have malaria. You're going to have the Spanish flu. You're going to have all these different things, all these sicknesses that happen around the world, right? And then you're going to have earthquakes that happen, right? There was a big old earthquake last year maybe it was this year, but not too long ago, big old earthquake in Brazil. Killed a whole bunch of our people, right? Big old earthquake. We talked about it, I think, in I don't say Moscow, but not Moscow. What's up? Morocco, right? Always big old earthquakes, right? That's breaking down. He said in diverse places, that's how it's gonna happen. He's telling you when this happened. What did he say?
Nation shall rise against nation, and there shall be famine and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these are the what?
Beginning of sorrows.
That's not a sign of the end, he said. He said that's a sign that we just now getting started. So every time there's a war right now, every time the wars start popping off, you know what people start thinking? It's the end of the world. This is it. It's the end of the world. It's almost over. See, the Bible being fulfilled right before they eyes. Right before, that's what they love to say. The Bible being fulfilled right before your eyes. Right? That's what they say, because in their mind, this is the signs of the end. But they don't know no book. Because if they knew the book, they'd say, oh, well, if Gaza is up against Israel and they about to bomb each other, and Ukraine is up against Russia and they about to bomb each other, and China is up against Taiwan and they about to bomb each other, and North Korea is up against South Korea and they about to bomb each other. If all that happened today, guess what that means? Oh, we just getting started. It ain't the end of the world, because we know the book. The book told us this is just the beginning of sorrows. In other words, it's just the start of you starting to be sad. Right? Keep going. Watch this. Because you got to get your question. Right? You need that answer to your question. Watch this.
Then shall they
Zakai, you
deliver
paying
you up.
attention?
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because
Hold on. Hold we got there. Grab Luke chapter 21. Give me verse like 10. It's Luke chapter 21. Give me about verse 10. What verse did we leave off on in Matthew?
9.
9? Okay.
Then he said unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs.
Right? So he said, look, you also going to see fearful sights and great signs. When he talking about fearful sights and great signs, what do you think he talking about? He's saying you're going to see some crazy stuff in the sky. They just talked about, they sending a little space shuttle to Jupiter, I think it was. They sent to one of Jupiter's moons. And they said, you know what I'm saying, by year 2030 or something crazy, they said it's going to be there. Maybe it could take a couple pictures, send it back. Right? They also talked about, we just talking about on the Sabbath call not too long ago. We were talking about they had a meteorite that they called a moon, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a second moon that they say that thing slingshot across Earth because of the orbit. They say it went around. So that's Earth right here, right? So it went around like this. And then, you know, when you get close, it's like it's pulling you in like that, right? Gravity is pulling you into Earth. But if you going fast, it's pulling you in, but it's making you, you know what I'm saying? You also got your velocity where you're going forward. So they say because it pulled it in, it slingshotted around like that. That's what they say. And some people saw that thing, right? So it's going to be all types of crazy little things that we're going to see. We just had that eclipse. Y'all remember that eclipse that we had? What was that, last year? Yeah. Right? Where everybody was like, oh, look at that. We ain't had an eclipse like that. I don't know how long it was. I don't be listening to you people anyway. Right, but we gonna see all types of crazy stuff. We ain't seen nothing yet. But he said we gonna have fearful signs. So in other words, we gonna look up and we gonna see the sky, and whoa, we gonna be like, I ain't never seen nothing like that. Right?
It literally got like dark in the middle of the day. That thing was crazy.
Yeah, with that eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Keep going. Watch this.
But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
Right? So now listen, he said, now before all that happened, I just told you all, look, you're going to have wars, rumors of wars, and nation going to rise up against nation, and famines, and people going to be talking about the false messiahs, all types of. But before any of that happened, right? Oh, these people going to lay hands on y'all. He said, y'all specifically, these people are going to lay hands on y'all. And they're going to do what?
And they shall persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will
Right?
give
Now
you
go back. Oh, we got go back to Matthew chapter 24. Right? This Matthew chapter 24. You said we left off on 8, 9? 9. This Matthew chapter 24, verse 9. Watch what the book say. I just want to get y'all, make sure y'all got a full scope of what he's trying to, the picture he's trying to paint for y'all.
Hold on 1 second.
It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 9. Watch what the book say.
Wait, 1 second. Hold on. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Right? He talking to the disciples, right? He's saying, look, before all that wild stuff happened, y'all gonna be delivered up. They gonna hate y'all for my name's sake. Watch this.
And then many shall be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Right? He shall that endure till what?
The end, the same shall be saved. And this
So now,
gospel,
who question was that? The one that's darn sleep. You gotta choose better help. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You just gotta choose better help. You know what I'm saying? You can't buy good help right here. I asked him to do one thing. Look out for the answer to this question. What do you do? Go right to sleep. That's crazy. Right? But that was Zakai's answer. Zakai's question was, remember, Zakai jumped up. He said, when the end of the world? Right? So now that's what he started. Zakai asked his question last. So that's the first question that Yahushua answered. He started giving you signs that the end of the world was coming. Because he asked him, how we going to know it's going to be the end of the world? Well, he said, man, listen, man, you're going to have a bunch of false messiahs. People going to be warring against warring, you know what I'm saying? Nation against nation, kingdom, pestilence, famine, earthquakes, diverse places, crazy signs in the sky. But before all that, y'all butts going to get towed up. Yeah, no, they're going to take y'all. They're going to deliver you all these people. It's going to turn into a testimony. So when it's time to speak, just speak. What's in your heart. Don't try to prepare. Right? They're going to kill you. And they're going to think when they kill you, they doing God a service. Right? So he's giving them the play of everything that's going to happen before the end of the world. Right? Now watch when he transition. Watch this.
and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
And then shall the end come. So the very last thing that he's telling you, the sign that the end of the world is coming, is that the gospel is preached to all the nations. And he's saying, and then shall the end come. That's that's the last thing he told you. All these other things got to happen. That's just the beginning. But listen, then the gospel is going to be preached to all the nations, and then shall the end come. Right? So now watch, this is Isaiah chapter 66. It's Isaiah chapter 66. Give me verse 19. And then we coming right back to Matthew chapter 24. Matter of fact, give me Daniel chapter 11. This is first we're going to what I say we were going? Isaiah chapter 66. And then after that, we're going to Daniel chapter 11. Then we got to tie ourselves right back to Matthew chapter 24. I might want Daniel. Just let's stick with Daniel chapter 11. This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19. You're gonna have to turn faster than that. I'm just trying to let you know. It's a muscle. You gotta exercise. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19. Mm-hmm.
And I will set a sign among them, and I will
Look, he said, I will set a sign among them. What you gonna do with that sign?
And I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pool, and Lud, and that draw the bow, to Tubal and Javan, to the isles afar off that have not
to the
heard
what?
my name.
He said to the isles afar off. Right? He's sending them out into all the world. And what they gonna do?
that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles.
He said they are going to declare my glory among the Gentiles, right? When Yahushua is talking about this stuff, he's not just making something up. He's talking about what's already documented in scripture. This is prophecy. Y'all told Isaiah, he is like, listen, I'm going to send them and I'm going to have them scatter around all the world. I'm going to send them out to all the world and they going to testify of my glory. They going to declare my glory to the Gentiles, right? That's where Yahushua got it from, right? Watch this. Grab Daniel chapter 11. This is Daniel chapter 11. Give me verse 30. This is Daniel chapter 11, verse 30. Then we're going back to Matthew chapter 24, whatever verse we left off.
For the ships
11.
of Chittim shall come against him. Therefore,
This is Daniel chapter 11, verse 30. He said, the ships of where?
Of Chittim shall come against him.
What are you talking about when he said the ships of Chittim? That's talking about Rome, right? This whole chapter, it start off talking about how the Persians is going to take over. And then it ends up going to the Greeks taking over, right? And then after the Greeks take over, now at about verse 30, it starts talking about the Romans taking over. So it's talking about the different empires that have the territory, especially over Israel, right? So at this point, the Romans take over, and what happened? The ships of Chittim
shall come against him. Therefore, he shall be grieved in return.
Who's in control during the time that Yahushua is talking?
Rome.
The Romans, right? So this is a prophecy about the very time that Yahushua is in, right? Watch this. This is what Daniel said well before any of this happened. Watch this.
Therefore he shall be grieved in return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant.
Mm-hmm. He said he gonna have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. In other words, it's gonna be traitors of Israel that don't mess with God no more, and they gonna give information to the Romans. That's exactly what happened in history, right? But watch this.
And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword. And
He said, they that understand amongst the people shall do what?
Instruct many.
Who you think he's talking about?
The disciples, the apostles.
He's telling you what's going on. He's saying, look, the disciples about to go out and they about to be teaching all types of people. They about to send out, but what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, they shall fall by the sword and by the flame, by captivity and by spoil many days.
That's why Yahushua told you, it's like, listen, look, man, it's going to be wars and rumors of war, all types of crazy stuff. But listen, hold on. Before we even get there, they about to get y'all, but oh yeah, no, they going to deliver y'all up. Don't worry. Y'all going to have to testify because y'all got to instruct many, right? But then they going to kill y'all, but sword going to have to be after y'all for my name's sake. He's saying they going to kill you because of me, right? This is what he's talking about. He's talking about what Daniel was prophesying. He said, look, it's going to be some understanding, but they going to fall. They're going to fall by the sword. What else going to happen to them?
Now, when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge and make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed.
So he said, until the end, it's going to be this same thing happening. From the time that Yahushua is here, the disciples, until the end, are going to be killed. And they're going to fall by the sword for the reason to purge and to make them white. Right? This is, when we get to Revelation, it's going to tell you about all of the martyrs, and it's going to tell you about the white robes and all that. This is what this talking about throughout history. It didn't stop. Throughout history, the real ones are going to get killed, going to get slaughtered, right? I'm under the belief we ain't had no real ones in a long time. You know what I'm saying? I'm under the belief it ain't really been no real ones lately. That's my personal belief. You know what I'm saying? I can't prove it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? These real ones could have been getting knocked off before they get notoriety. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, right? But the real ones is silenced and they fallen, right? What verse is that? Verse 5? I mean 35?
Yeah.
Jump on back to Matthew 24. We're gonna come back to Daniel 11. But this is Matthew chapter 24. We left off on verse 35, right?
24:14.
It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. Watch what the book say.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken
So
of
that
by
got
Daniel the
Zakai's
prophet.
question, right? Then shall the end come. So now, Adrian, you still got to you ask your question first. You still got to get your answer. We got to figure that out. Let's see. Watch this.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place.
We
Whoso
just read
readeth,
that, right? Daniel told us, you know what I'm saying? The Romans came and there's an abomination that make it desolate,
look
right?
over
We just read that in Daniel chapter 11, right? But watch this. Keep going. He said, when you see the abomination that make it desolate, what's going to happen?
spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then
Mm-hmm.
let them which be in Judah flee to the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For
Right? He said, listen, when y'all see what Daniel was talking about in his prophecy, when you see it, oh, let me tell you something. If you at the top of the house, don't try to come down looking for no darn clothes. If you in the field, do not go running back to your darn house. Oh, and I hope you ain't got no little babies in that day. Oh, I hope you ain't holding on to no little baby. He's trying to tell you, oh, it's about to get rough. It's about to be bad. He's saying run. Don't look back. Don't run. Listen, a lot of people think this is talking about the end of the world. If it's the end of the world, where you going to run to? Right? He telling you, run to the mountains. Do whatever you got to do. Just get out of Dodge. He's not talking about the end of the world. He's talking about something else. Let's see what he's talking about.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. And
Right? He's saying the time that he's describing, before it wasn't nothing as bad, nor will there ever be anything as bad. I want y'all to understand what our ancestors went through, because a lot of people don't tell us this. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for
He
the
said if
elect,
he kept these people at our butts, everybody would have died. But he said he shortened the days. He shortened the time period that they was on us. So that allows some of us to escape. Keep going. Watch this.
but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Mm-hmm.
Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is the Messiah, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall
Hold
also the
on. Hold we
coming of
got
the Son
there.
of Man be.
Hold we got there. Grab Ezekiel chapter 5 for me. This is Ezekiel chapter 5. Let's go ahead and start at verse 1. When he talk about the abomination that make it desolate, he's not talking about the end of the world. He talking about the end of our nation. He talking about when we lose our heritage. This is the beginning of us forgetting who we were. He talking about when the Romans came and they destroyed our land and they left not one stone on another. He's answering Adrian's question. He's answering, when shall these things be? He's trying to explain to you, listen, when you see what Daniel was talking about in his prophecy, get lost. Trust me. Don't look back. Go to the mountains. Go wherever you're going to go. But do not look back. Move. It's about to be rough. Matter of fact, it ain't never been nothing so rough. And it's never going to be anything this bad. He said the tribulation of this time, oh man, y'all ain't never seen nothing like that. Nor will you ever see anything like that. He said, oh man, the women that's with child, oh, I pray for them. He said the ones that got little babies that's still nursing, oh, I pray for them. He said this time is a rough time, right? He's talking about the destruction of the temple. This is Ezekiel chapter 5. Give me verse 1. Watch what the book say. Ezekiel told us about it too. I just want y'all to see that Yahushua is not making this stuff up. He's getting it from the scripture. Watch this.
And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife, take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thy head and upon thy beard. Then take thee balances to weigh, and divide the hair. Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the sea. When the days of the siege are fulfilled, and thou shalt take a third part and smite about it with a knife. And the third part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will
Thou shalt
draw
do what?
after them. And the third part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will draw the sword after them.
He said, look, I'm going to scatter you in the wind and chase you with a sword. Right? He told her, he gave him the imagery of his hair. He said, okay, now look, take a knife. Go ahead and cut your hair. You know what I'm saying? So I like to believe that Ezekiel had long hair. But what he did, he probably had locks or something. He cut them. And then he took his locks like this. Now he said, okay, now divide your locks into 3. Right? So he took it. He said, okay, this 3, and this 3. And he said, what to do with the first one? Burn it with what?
Burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city when the days of the siege are fulfilled.
Right? So he said, after the siege is fulfilled, right? And after, in other words, at what we're reading about right now in our Bible in a year, after Babylon surrounds Jerusalem, right? And they finish. In other words, they finish destroying everything, right? He said, after that, burn your hair in the midst of the city. So he burns his hair. That's where everybody can see it. They looking like, man, Ezekiel, what's that about, right? Why you burning your hair in the midst of the city? Then what else he have him do?
Then take the balances away and divide the hair. You shall burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city when the days of the siege are fulfilled. And thou shalt take a third part and smite about it with a knife.
So then you got the next section of hair. He said, take a knife. So you already cut your hair off, and then you took 3 sections. The first one you burnt in the midst of the city. The second one, now he said, smite about it with a knife. So now you just chopping that thing up, dicing your hair up into little pieces, right? So everybody looking like, okay, Ezekiel set his hair on fire in the middle of the city, and now he's sitting here chopping his hair all up. What is going on, Ezekiel? What you doing? What does this mean, right? They know he a prophet, so they trying to ask him, what is God trying to tell us with this imagery that you giving us? Then what else happened?
And a third part thou shalt scatter in the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them.
Right? So then he said, okay, then the last part of it, you take that one. I done burnt up the first part. I done chopped up the second part. Then he said, this last part, I want you to scatter it in the wind. And then what y'all say he's going to do?
I will draw out a sword after them.
Then he said, I'm going to chase them with the sword. So first I'm going to scatter them and they get all spread out. And then I'm still going to chase them with the sword. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Thou shalt also take thereof a few in number and bind them in thy skirts. Then take of them again and cast them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire, for thereof shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Thus says the Lord God, this is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are round about her. And she hath changed my judgments into wickedness, more than the nations, and my statutes more than the countries that are around about her. For they have refused my judgments and my statutes, they have not walked in them. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah God, because you multiplied more than the nations that are round about you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah God, behold, even I am against thee, and will execute judgments in the midst of thee, in the sight of the nations. And I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more the like, because of thine abominations.
Does that sound familiar? He said, I will do unto you something that I have never done, and also something that I will never do again. Ain't that what Yahushua just told us? Yahushua was like, listen, man, look, the tribulations of this time is going to be something that you've never seen before, nor something that you will ever see again. Right? He's getting this stuff from the scripture. Watch what he say. Keep going.
Therefore, the fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers, and I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds.
The whole remnant of thee will I do what?
Scatter into all the winds.
So this is how we end up getting into all these different countries. Right? This is how our people end up getting scattered into America and into Brazil and into Costa Rica and into, different places in Africa. You know what I'm saying? You got our people out in Russia, out in different places in Europe, out in India. You know what I'm saying? They got I forget the name of it, but they got what they call Igbo people in they got Igbo people in China. You know what I'm saying? And they got a particular name. I wrote it down. I got it written down on my computer. But I can't remember it right now. They got a particular name for those Igbo people that's in China. All our people are just scattered all the way around the world. Right? All throughout the world, we are scattered. And that's the prophecy that the Most High God set up. He told Ezekiel that was going to happen. Right? Oh, we got grab Daniel chapter 9. Give me verse 23. This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 23.
At the beginning of thy supplications, the commandment came forth, and I came to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision.
This is the angel talking to Daniel, trying to explain to him about a vision that he just had. Watch this.
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, and
Look,
2 weeks.
So from the commandment to restore and to rebuild, and unto the Messiah shall be 70 weeks. Watch this.
And 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself.
Right? So he told you that first, everything is going to be restored and rebuilt. This is talking about what Zerubbabel did, right? And what Ezra did. They rebuilt the temple. So this is the very temple that the disciples is looking at like, man, you see all this, all these great stones on top. And Yahushua, he came back to him and was like, man, ain't going to be one stone left on top of another. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing about to be tore up. And they asking the question like, what? What you know what I'm saying? That's when Adrian asked his question like, so when are these things going to happen? When are we going to lose this temple that we got? Like that already happened. I'm trying to figure out when is that, you know what I'm saying? When we going to lose the temple? So this is Daniel already prophesying and telling us, hey, when Daniel was talking, there was no temple. The Babylonians already destroyed it, right? Daniel saying there's going to be a commandment to rebuild it, and it's going to be rebuilt. Watch this. He said, the Messiah is going to be cut off, but not for itself.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And
So
unto
he
the
said the
end,
people of the prince, right, are going to come. So there's a ruler. He's talking about Rome is going to come and he's going to destroy this sanctuary. And what else?
and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war, desolations are determined.
He said, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. And watch this.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. And
Right. So he said, in the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. Right. So that's the abomination that make it desolate. He's talking about the temple. Right. He's talking about the Romans are going to come and they're going to make it desolate. In other words, they're going to destroy it. Right. They're going to destroy the temple. They are the abomination and they make it desolate. Right. Grab where we leave off. Matthew 24 verse what?
27.
27. Let's go back to matter of fact, give me Luke first. Give me Luke chapter 21. Jump on down to verse 20. But I want you to see what Luke has to say. It's the same conversation, but this is just how Luke recorded it. Watch this.
You said Luke what?
Luke chapter 21 verse 20.
All right.
This is Luke chapter 21 verse 20.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Right? So he said, listen, Luke said a little more plain. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, just know that it's about to be destroyed. All right, watch this. Keep going.
Then let them which are in Judah flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereunto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the
Jerusalem shall be what now?
Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right? So this is how you know that we lost our heritage. He says that there will be Gentiles that step and walk around Jerusalem, and that's where we are today. Those people over there, they call themselves Ashkenazi Jews. You know what Ashkenazi mean?
Gentile.
Ashkenazi is talking about I'm a German. You know what I'm saying? That's all it's saying. He said I'm a darn German. I'm a Russian. I'm an Eastern European. Is what it's saying. Ashkenaz was the descendant of Japheth.
Japheth.
And Japheth was known to give birth to the Isles of the Gentiles. So when you call yourself an Ashkenazi Jew, what you calling yourself is a Gentile Jew. Right? And then you got the Palestinians over there. They also walking all over our land. It's being trod down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. But watch what it say right before that verse. Give me the verse right before it. Remember Ezekiel prophesied that, remember Ezekiel prophesied that we'll be scattered in the wind? Right? Watch this.
And let them which are in Judah flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them
run. He's saying run to the mountains. And if you inside of the city, depart, just leave, go wherever you got to go. Because watch what's going to happen.
And let not them that are in the countries enter thereunto. For those be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to them that are with child and that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be
They
led
shall do
away
what?
captive. Fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
We will be led away captive into all nations. Our people tried to escape and either died or became prisoners. Right? This is what led to the slave trade. It was 2 slave trades. The one they don't tell y'all about. There was one of them called the Arab slave trade that was on our people. They try to lay all this racism stuff. They try to lay it at the feet of these white folks. They don't really know. It really started with these Arabs. It started with the Muslims. Right? The Muslims got us and they traded us first. That's where the white folks got it from. That's where the Europeans got it from. They made a deal with the Muslims, and then they all came together and they decided to choose us to be the people to bring to the new world and to scatter us around all the world and do the most, right? But that's how this thing works. Because he said you will be led away captive into all nations. Just one, not just 2. All nations, your butt gonna be led away captive. Grab Jeremiah real quick. It's Jeremiah chapter 9. It's Jeremiah chapter 9. Give me verse 12. It's Jeremiah chapter 9. Give me verse 12. Watch what the book say. It's Jeremiah chapter 9.
Yeah. Who is the wise man that may understand this? And who is he to whom the mouth of Yahuah has spoken? That he
He said, who is this to whom the mouth of Yahuah has spoken? It's Jeremiah chapter 9. We at verse 12. It's Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 12. He said, who is this to whom the mouth of Yahuah has spoken? Watch this.
that he may declare it. For what the land perisheth and is burnt up like a wilderness that none passes through. And Yahuwah said, because they have forsaken my law, which I have set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Baalim, which their fathers taught them. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And
He said, I will scatter them among the heathen. Who what?
Whom neither they nor their fathers have known.
Well, we knew the Romans, didn't we? Right? We was aware who the Romans were. So where in the world did they scatter us? They put us deep into Africa. We went to some nations we ain't never heard of. Right? And then they ended up sending us to America. We dealing with some people we have never dealt with, never even heard of these people before. These some Gentiles we ain't never had to deal with. We ain't never been that far into the European countries, what's now called the European countries. Right? He putting us with people we've never heard of. We way down in South America. You never heard of these people? Right? Keep going.
And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them. Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, consider ye and call for the mourning women, that they may come, and send for cunning women, that they may come. And let them make haste and take up a wailing for us, that our eyes may run down with tears, and
He said that our eyes might what?
Run down with tears, and our eyelids gush out with waters.
Right? That's because of the sadness of our people in our captivity. Right? Pop back over. This is Matthew. Matthew chapter 24. What verse we leave off on?
27.
27. It's Matthew chapter 24. Give me verse 27. So that answers Adrian's question. Now we only got Aubrey question left, right? Aubrey, what was your question again? You remember your question? He said your question was, when is he coming back? Right? Yahushua, when are you coming back? That was your question. Remember, Adrian was like, man, when is that gonna happen? When the temple gonna get tore up? So he just answered yours. He was like, listen, man, when you see this thing surrounded by armies, look, get out of Dodge. You know what I'm saying? That boy, look, get out of Dodge. It's about to be rough. You ain't never seen nothing before, nor if anybody gonna see it again. This gonna be different. Tribulation this time gonna be rough. Get out of Dodge. So he answered your question, and then he answered Zakai's question first. Zakai was asleep when he got the answer, though. You know what I'm saying? But he answered Zakai's question first. He said, listen, man, the end of the world, it's gonna be wars, rumors of war, all these people fighting, going back and forth. But you know what I'm saying? That's just the beginning of sorrows. Listen, when the gospel get preached across the whole world, then the end goes. Right? So now he got to answer Abby's question now. Her question was, well, when are you coming back? You know, that's all she wanted to know. Aubrey just wanted, when are you coming back? I just want to know when you coming back. Right? So let's see if he can answer it. Matter of fact, jump back a little bit to verse 23. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 23.
Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the Messiah, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Behold.
So now listen what he said now. He said there will be false. Y'all hear what y'all know. One of the things y'all hear me say a lot is everything can be duplicated except what? Righteousness is the only thing that cannot be duplicated by God. I mean, by the devil. Right? Everything else can be duplicated. And the reason why I make that clear and I try to keep telling everybody that is because he's telling you right here, beware, there will be false messiahs that's going to be doing what?
Even many.
Huh?
Deceiving many.
Now read what he said.
False messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right? So he said they are going to be doing signs and wonders. These are miracles that people going to see. They're going to look at it and they're going to be like, dang, I didn't know people could do that type of stuff. Then he really just healed the sick. He really did. And Yahushua is telling you they're going to be false. They're not going to be real, but we're going to believe them because we're going to be so thirsty to see a miracle. Right now, how thirsty are people to see a miracle? You can fake something right now and people go with it because they're so thirsty to see a miracle. Satan is going to use this against you because look, he's going to let somebody really do a miracle and your butt going to be sitting there like, dang, that got to be God. And it's going to be a false Messiah. That's why the only thing that we can use is the book to determine what's real and what's fake. You can't just go off of no miracle. No, your life got to line up. Your behavior got to line up. What you teach got to line up. Your language got to line up. Everything got to line up with the book. If it don't, then I can't listen to you. If the Most High God see fit that I see that you don't line up with the book, I ain't got no reason to listen to you. I'd be crazy to listen to you because that's the Most High God trying to let you know, like, yeah, no, that ain't the one. Ain't the one. That's deception. That ain't the one. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh of the east and shines even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right? So he said, just like the lightning shine to the east and to the west, that's how you know how the Son of Man is gonna be. Right? So even when he's talking about himself, when he say Son of Man, he's talking about himself. Even that he got from the scripture. Grab Zechariah for me. This is Zechariah chapter 17. Zechariah don't go to 17. What's on my brain? Is Zechariah. Give me Zechariah chapter 9. Give me Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. I find it, you know what I'm saying? You call out 9 when you're talking about these chapters, you almost can't miss. You know what I'm saying? Almost in my experience, most of the time, Most High God start cooking when he get to verse 9. You know what I'm saying? When he get to verse 9, when he's like, okay, now I got something to say.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee.
He said, well, look, he said, behold, thy king cometh unto you. Remember, Aubrey's question was, when are you going to come back? Right? He said, behold, thy king cometh unto you. Watch this.
He is just and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon a donkey, upon the coat of
He
the
doing what now? Lowly and riding upon a donkey. Keep going. Watch this.
And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak peace unto the heathen. And his dominion shall be from sea to sea, and from river even unto the ends of the earth. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water.
That's resurrection that he's talking about. Keep going. Watch this.
Turn ye to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. When I have bent Judah for me, filled with the bow of Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. And Yahuah shall.
We have to get into that some other time. He said, raise up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. Y'all have to understand that a lot of this stuff ties back into what the Bible calls Greece or Grecia. You know what I'm saying? We have to read about it in Daniel chapter 8. We'll probably get into that next week. But let's keep going.
And Yahuah shall be over them, and his sorrow shall go forth as the lightning. And Yahuah God shall blow the
He
trumpet.
said, what's going to go forth?
And his arrow shall go forth as the lightning.
As the what?
Lightning.
So you see where Yahushua is getting it from. He said, look, I'm going to show up. And when you see me, don't be believing nobody be like, oh, look, he hiding in the desert. Follow me. He over here in this mountain. Follow me. He said, no, that don't make no sense. Because the scriptures say, when you see me, man, my arrow is going to be like lightning. Like lightning like what? Keep reading.
And Yahuah God shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south.
Now watch this. Let's go back. It's Matthew chapter 24. What verse?
27.
It's Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. Now watch what he say here.
Whereas the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
Mm-hmm.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from four winds, from the end of the heaven to the other. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When the branches.
We can stop right there. So next week we're gonna pick up. We're gonna pick up and we're gonna look at another piece of that, right? We're gonna look at how Yahushua came back, right? We saw Zechariah talk about he rode on a donkey. We saw Zechariah talk about we're gonna take Zion, put him in a bow against your sons, O Greece, right? So we're gonna try to break that piece down a little bit, and then we're gonna go into the parable of the fig tree. The parable of the fig tree is gonna tell us how to recognize the signs of the time, right? So we're gonna look at all these things, and then you know what I'm saying, try to get through the rest of Matthew chapter 24. All right. Any questions? You got your question answered? You got your question answered? You know what I'm saying? You can't buy good help around. Goodness gracious, out like a light. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't make it through the first 7 minutes. Let's see. Any questions in the chat? I don't see any. All right. Well, let's pray out.